If I'm easy work, I heard him say I'm easy work. If I was easy work, well, you would take all that money that he's offering you. But yet and still, he want 200 million for Benavidez, and he want 150 million to fight me. So that just lets me know right there that I'm a threat to him.
Maybe someone's reacted to that news, I don't know, or maybe it just fell through. No. But it sounds to me that the move to fight Jake Paul has just maybe derailed the other fight. But I don't blame Canelo Alvarez, because financially, the bigger fight is Canelo-Jake Paul. Yeah. Because in that fight, you've got two big stars. Yeah. In the other fight, you've got two great fighters and one big star.
Terence Crawford fires back as Canelo super fight collapses amid Jake Paul controversy. Terence Crawford has fired back at Canelo Alvarez following the shocking collapse of what was once hyped as one of the biggest fights in boxing history. Initially set to be a monumental showdown this fall in Nevada, the bout had fans buzzing, but now it's officially off, leaving the boxing world stunned and frustrated. According to Ring magazine, both camps had previously agreed to terms, and everything seemed on track. But recent developments point to unresolved issues between the two sides, causing the deal to fall apart. Adding fuel to the fire is an unexpected twist. YouTuber-turned-boxer Jake Paul is now being blamed by many fans for derailing the highly anticipated clash. Social media is ablaze with criticism, accusing Canelo of dodging Crawford to pursue a more profitable and arguably safer fight with Paul. Boxing analyst Peep Games posted on X, formerly Twitter, it's official. Canelo Alvarez ducked the #1 pound-for-pound fighter, Terence "Bud" Crawford. Canelo is now the undisputed biggest coward in boxing history. The backlash has been fierce, especially with strong rumors suggesting Canelo is considering a tune-up fight against Jake Paul instead. Critics argue that this decision prioritizes profit over legacy, with many fans feeling betrayed. One of the most vocal critics is Turki Alalshik, the powerhouse behind Riyadh Season's blockbuster boxing events. Alalshik has openly condemned the growing role of influencers in professional boxing, warning that their involvement threatens the sport's authenticity and competitive spirit. With the fight officially dead and tensions boiling over, the future feels uncertain. Will Crawford find a worthy challenger? Will Canelo respond to the backlash? And most controversially, is Jake Paul really next?
And Terence Crawford, who should be a big star, but the reality is isn't. He's just an unbelievable fighter. So listen, everything can change overnight, as you saw.
Yeah.
So don't rule out Canelo Crawford, but as I'm hearing, Canelo Jake Paul is done, and I get it. Yeah, I'll watch it.
Mad old game. Eddie, always a pleasure, mate. Really appreciate the time.
Listen, buck up your ideas.
How Crawford versus Canelo went from boxing's dream fight to a social media meltdown for nearly a year. Terence Crawford chased a legacy-defining showdown with Canelo Alvarez, a bout that promised to be one of the biggest events in modern boxing history. Negotiations were intense but promising, with both fighters staying in direct contact with Turki Alalshik, the influential Saudi boxing chief known for delivering global mega-events. Alalshik was all in on the matchup. He believed Crawford versus Canelo could transcend the sport, a true pound-for-pound clash that would capture the world's attention. Momentum built fast. Reports suggested a deal was nearly finalized, and insiders hinted that an official announcement could drop during the high-profile UFC 306 event in September. Then came the turning point, an Instagram live session that sent the boxing world into a frenzy. Fresh off his dominant win over Edgar Berlanga, Crawford went live with Alalshik. The conversation quickly turned to the Canelo fight, and Crawford used the moment to call him out publicly. Alalshik, clearly fired up, responded on the spot, "Yes, let's go. Canelo, come on, we are ready." Crawford doubled down. "You heard it from him. Just put me in the game. Canelo versus Crawford, the biggest fight in boxing. We stay ready so we don't have to get ready." For a moment, it felt inevitable. Fans began to believe the fight was finally happening. The stage was set. Two of the sport's best were ready. All that was left was the announcement. But then, everything changed. Suddenly, whispers emerged about a different kind of fight. Canelo versus Jake Paul, T1st. Fans laughed it off. A 4-division world champion squaring off against a YouTuber with no real wins over ranked professionals? It sounded ridiculous. But as the rumor mill spun faster and social media lit up, the conversation took a serious turn. What was once dismissed as fantasy now became a genuine talking point. Canelo versus Paul was no longer just internet noise, it was dominating headlines. The backlash was instant and intense. boxing purists were furious. How could Canelo even entertain a gimmick fight while a once-in-a-generation clash with Crawford was so close? Fans felt betrayed. Critics slammed the move as a money grab that insulted the sport's integrity. Why chase a circus act, they asked, when greatness is standing right in front of you? Despite the outrage, the rumors refused to die. Speculation swirled. The energy shifted. And just like that, what was supposed to be boxing's next golden chapter spiraled into confusion and controversy. Now, instead of celebrating a historic fight, the boxing world is left with bitter questions, and a spotlight that has shifted from greatness to spectacle.
Then are you, David, that you will fight the winner of Better Be a Bivol?
Yeah, I'm pretty confident. To be honest, the only thing that I'm thinking about is that if Bivol wins this fight, like what they would have to do a rubber match. You know what I mean? And like I'm just like thinking, who am I to say that, you know, they can't fight another fight because, you know, they fought two great fights. So that's basically the only thing I'm thinking of right now. But I would, if that's something like that would happen, I think I wouldn't fight until they get that done with, and then, you know, I would move into that fight after they have a trilogy. So that's really the only thing I'm thinking right now.
But that would be a long break for you. Like, let's say conceivably they fight again.
Crawford eyes history as Canelo drifts. Benavidez closes in Terence, Bud. Crawford stands on the edge of boxing immortality. With a chance to become the first male fighter in the four-belt era to achieve undisputed status in 3 separate weight classes, Crawford's next move could solidify him as one of the greatest to ever step in the ring. But with the long-awaited mega fight against Canelo Alvarez seemingly off the table, Crawford now faces a defining crossroads. Will he wait around for a deal that may never happen, or pivot toward another legacy-building path? One intriguing possibility: a showdown with towering southpaw Sebastian Fundora. Known for his awkward style and lanky frame, Fundora has already traded jabs with Crawford online, fueling serious hype. While Fundora's size presents a new kind of challenge, many believe Crawford's elite ring IQ, pinpoint counters, and veteran savvy would prove too much to handle. Still, fans can't help but wonder, would Canelo really risk his reputation against a fighter as sharp and strategic as Crawford? On one hand, Bud's ability to break down opponents with surgical precision could tilt the scales in his favor. But on the other hand, Canelo's thunderous bodywork, granite chin, and championship experience can't be overlooked. For Canelo, a loss here would be more than just a blemish. It could deal a major blow to his already legendary career, especially with David Benavidez breathing down his neck. Benavidez, the relentless power-punching menace of the super middleweight division, is making it increasingly difficult for Canelo to keep dodging. With unmatched volume, pressure, and raw aggression, Benavidez has become the fight fans demand. And if he captures undisputed status at 175, a real possibility after his recent domination of David Morrell, the pressure on Canelo to face him will become impossible to ignore. Meanwhile, one major sticking point keeps resurfacing. Wait, is it fair to ask Crawford, a natural welterweight, to jump up 2 full divisions to fight someone as physically dominant as Canelo? Supporters say Bud's skill set could neutralize the size gap. Detractors argue that it's a dangerous mismatch that risks not just defeat but physical damage. Either way, one thing is clear: boxing's elite chessboard is shifting. Crawford is still chasing greatness. Canelo is at a crossroads, and Benavidez is turning up the heat. Will Bud take a fight that continues his march toward history? Will Canelo stop the sidestepping and face the pressure head-on? And will Benavidez finally break through the politics and claim his moment? The road ahead is anything but predictable, but one thing's certain: the next chapter in boxing's story is about to get explosive.
We'll see. I'm gonna rest and talk with my team, and like I say, everybody asking for everything, but and I always did. I always fight with everybody you asking. So, but right now I'm in the position I can ask him to. So I'm in the position I can ask him to, and I can do whatever I want, and we'll see what happens.
Canelo's interest in Jake Paul fight raises eyebrows as Crawford clash crumbles amid the shocking breakdown of the highly anticipated Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford superfight. Speculation is swirling about what really caused the deal to collapse, and many believe Jake Paul may be at the center of it. Insiders and fans alike suspect that Canelo's reported interest in a potential bout with YouTuber-turned-boxer Jake Paul played a pivotal role in derailing the blockbuster matchup with Crawford. It's a bitter pill for boxing purists, especially considering that Canelo versus Crawford would have been a historic 4-belt unification clash, a true battle between two all-time greats. Many fans were also hoping to see Canelo square off against IBF champ William Skull, another legacy-defining bout that could have helped him reclaim undisputed status. Instead, speculation about a fight with Jake Paul, whose last win came against a 58-year-old Mike Tyson, has left many questioning Canelo's priorities. User on X, formerly Twitter, named Canelo Lesnar captured the mood. Although it's still unclear why Canelo vs. Crawford was cancelled, many insiders speculate that a simple demand may have triggered the dispute. One of those speculations? That Canelo allegedly pushed for Teofimo Lopez to be Crawford's next opponent following some pointed comments Bud made about Lopez, a move that may have created unnecessary friction at the negotiating table. Meanwhile, rumors about Canelo vs. Jake Paul continue to swirl. No concrete evidence has confirmed that talks were ever serious, but red flags started popping up when the proposed Crawford fight quietly shifted venues from T-Mobile Arena to Allegiant Stadium, a potential sign that the original deal was already falling apart behind the scenes. Would Canelo, a four-division world champion still holding the WBO, WBA, and WBC belts, really entertain a fight with Jake Paul? On paper, it seems ridiculous. Yet in today's era of influencer boxing and viral headlines, even a whisper can snowball into mainstream discussion. The backlash has been swift. Fans expressed frustration over the chaos and lack of clarity surrounding the situation. One fan posted, "Boxing is a joke sometimes, announcing fights before contracts are even signed." Another wrote, "They hyped us up just to let us down." What makes this fallout particularly painful is the wasted potential. A Crawford vs. Canelo clash would have been a rare, era-defining meeting of pound-for-pound kings. But instead, fans are left with uncertainty and speculation. Some theories point to complex contract terms as a possible issue, including a rumored clause that would have forced the winner to face David Benavidez. Known for his relentless aggression and hunger for big fights, Benavidez would be a nightmare for anyone at 168. If true, it's no surprise the prospect might have complicated things further. Not everyone saw the cancellation as a complete loss, though. Some argued that the fight was too risky for Crawford, who would have had to jump 2 full weight classes to take on Canelo. As one fan put it, Bud can't cut to 168. Taking that cash grab would have just hurt his legacy. While Crawford is undoubtedly a generational talent, stepping into the ring against someone like Canelo at super middleweight may have been too much, too fast. For some, walking away might have been the smarter move in the long run. With the dust still settling, one name is re-emerging in the super middleweight scene: David Benavidez. After a dominant win over David Morrell in a title eliminator, Benavidez told Ariel Helwani he now has his eyes on Dimitri Bivol, the man who famously defeated Canelo 2 years ago. If Bivol prevails in his next bout, it could send shockwaves through the entire division. For now, the dream matchup between Canelo and Crawford is off, and boxing fans are once again left wondering, what could have been?
But it may be a done deal. Terence Crawford, Canelo Alvarez. Early thoughts? What do you think?
Yeah, look, the first thought is, can he handle the weight jump? Can he handle the weight jump? He being Crawford against Madridov, people are going to say, "Oh, he had some hiccups." Who don't have hiccups? When you eat something that's a little difficult to eat, and Madrimov was a little difficult to eat, he's not easy to digest, he's a good fighter. When you eat something that's a little tough to digest, you get hiccups, right? So, come on, he's human. So he had a few hiccups. He won the fight. He's Terence Crawford. A lot of people say, "Oh, Teddy, you make him so good. You're always saying how great Crawford is." But who's he beating? He unified the, what was his first division? Lightweight, then he unified the junior, then he unified the junior welter, then he unified the welter. I think I got the weight classes right. It doesn't.
From dream fights to drama. How speculation became boxing's main event at this point. The actual outcome of any potential Canelo-Alvarez fight has taken a back seat to the chaos of speculation. The headlines, the debates, the fan outcry, all of it swirling around rumors, not results. And remarkably, not a single punch has been thrown. That's the power of Jake Paul, a master of spectacle whose name alone can hijack the boxing narrative. Whether you love him or loathe him, Paul knows how to dominate the conversation, even in a sport filled with world champions and legends. Amid the noise, respected boxing voice Showbiz the Adult stepped into the fray, calling things as he sees them. The real fight is Canelo versus Crawford. That's what people want. He acknowledged that Canelo would likely be the favorite, but insisted that, from a sporting perspective, Nothing compares to a pound-for-pound showdown with Terence Crawford. Still, showbiz didn't ignore the business side. Canelo needs a May opponent who doesn't really threaten his record or reputation. And that's where Jake Paul enters the picture. Showbiz conceded that a bout with Paul, however ridiculous it may seem, could potentially generate more money than one with Crawford. That's the world we live in. What am I going to say? Paul's notoriety has become its own brand of currency. The controversy, the backlash, the endless tweets, all of it sells. Even the anger directed at him has value. As Showbiz put it, the hate alone could fill the arena. The sentiment has gotten so strange that some fans have begun reframing the potential fight in mythic terms, positioning Canelo as a righteous avenger. The hero boxing needs to shut Paul down once and for all. Let Canelo teach him a lesson. That's the rallying cry of purists who feel the sport's dignity is under siege by social media personalities, gimmick matchups, and cash grab spectacles. Ariel Helwani also chimed in on the Ariel Helwani show, reacting to reports that Canelo versus Jake Paul could happen as soon as May. He didn't confirm the fight, but he couldn't ignore the money. If this is true, what a freaking year for Canelo Alvarez. 2 gigantic paydays. One against Jake Paul. One potentially against Terence Crawford. Whether or not the boxing community approves, the numbers don't lie. Canelo is still one of the sport's most bankable stars. But the backlash remains fierce. Critics say a fight with Jake Paul would be a stain on Canelo's legacy, a sign that boxing's biggest names are choosing viral moments over meaningful matchups. Supporters argue that it's smart business, a low-risk, high-reward exhibition that preserves Canelo's record and fattens his bank account. And as social media fuels the spectacle and the line between sport and entertainment blurs, one truth stands tall. Jake Paul stays relevant, and in today's fight game, that might be the biggest win of all.